Alright, hello and welcome to the Devstream 113 breakdown. So this is the post-TennoCon Devstream, which means, hey, there's not a whole lot of new stuff to talk about here. DE kind of told us about everything that's coming, and this is going to be a whole lot of clarifications. So let's just get started. First and foremost is Fortuna. They walked through Fortuna a bit and showed off a lot of the vendors and stuff. The only really new information to come out of this is that there is definitely going to be Quills related content in Fortuna proper. With that, around that, they kind of said the word skins a lot, so it may be that we just get a lot of cosmetic upgrades to our operator, but they also kind of hinted that there may be some kind of new system for our operators to engage in as well. So there's definitely going to be that in Fortuna, and that will be interesting. I personally think the Quills are probably the single most interesting thing about Cetus and the planes in general, just because they're so weird. But anyway, with that, we also got a lot of information about hoverboards that is really exciting. So they are non-consumable, and because these are non-consumable, DE has decided that the Arcwings should also no longer be a consumable item. They're going to be moddable, they're going to have customizable colors and tricks and modding and stuff, and they are going to be able to hover over water. All of those things together, along with the incredible speed that has been shown off in some of the previews that they put into webm format and stuff on Twitter and all that, tells me that these hoverboards are going to be just absolutely fantastic. I hope that this is newer player accessible, because the big issue, I suppose I'm going to call it, for newer players that want to engage in the Plains of Eidolon, or definitely Venus, because Venus is larger, is that they just can't get around fast enough. They don't have access to the advanced builds where it's oh, this is my travel at Mach 45 Zephyr build, or teleport around as Nova. New players don't really have access to that stuff, so I think hoverboards could definitely be the bridge that makes it so that new players can just kind of go wherever and get places quickly. Although changing the Arcwing charges to not be consumable could also just alleviate that problem by itself. One way or another, all these changes are fantastic. I can't wait for these things. They look super fun. And we got more information on Revenant. For those that are wondering, what the fuck is a Revenant? Revenant is the new male Warframe that is going to be coming out, not Garuda. And he has some power changes that are detailed. So there's no longer a ramp up on his 1. If you use his 1 on an enemy, they are immediately under your control, and any enemies that they shoot will also become under your control. They did state that this is going to have a cap that they're thinking is going to be around 20 enemies, which is fine. And moving on from that, we have the second ability, which the armor is charge-based now, and it seemed to function a lot like the Amish's 1, which is pretty exciting because the Amish's 1 is absolutely incredible. And it also does the mind control thing on any enemies that hit you, so an enemy shoots you, and then now they are under your control, and also it didn't do any damage based on the preview that was shown today. So that seems really good. His 3 is a way to recharge shields and HP from enemies that are under your control from your 1 or your 2, so that's very useful just as a sustainability. It doesn't really seem to have a whole lot else going on with it, which is a little bit disappointing, but having one okay ability out of the bunch is not so bad. Most Warframes have that exact thing going on regardless. And his 4, finally, is changed the most. It is no longer this AoE sleep thing that I didn't think was going to be very useful. It is now, it appears to be, incredibly useful, as it is a Mesa-like 4 where he jumps up and shoots lasers out his body in all directions and can focus the lasers in certain directions to myrtleize shit super hard. So that makes this Warframe way better than he was initially shown off. The current meta of Warframe is that enemies need to fucking die. If enemies aren't dying, you're not doing your job well enough, is pretty much the case for all of the important game modes that we're doing right now, where enemies need to die. You can't just CC them and wait. Enemies have to die, so him having a damaging ability is very, very important for his relevancy when he launches, so that's very exciting. I think he looks a lot, with very few changes, it's a lot better than he was initially shown off. And then finally, we got some stuff about Railjack that was very surprising to me, especially this first point in that Railjack is going to be soloable. It's apparently going to be a thing where you can just put the additional guns on your ship into AI mode, and they will just shoot and target enemies. Obviously, they'll probably be worse at it than a real person would, but the fact that Railjack is going to be soloable in any capacity is fairly surprising to me, and it's very nice for those players that are obviously You know, they don't have like a dedicated clan. They're like they only go solo. Maybe their internet connection isn't good enough to like connect to other players and stuff like that. That those people are going to get to experience the content is really nice. With that, though, it is going to be a multiplayer-focused thing. They want you to do multiplayer, in that it is going to be clan research to get a kind of bay for all these ships set up in your clan, and then it's going to be a tech tree that your clan all works on to get new parts and such for the ships, and it's going to be, like, moddable and upgradable and all that business. All that sounds awesome, and with this, we got some talk about release dates, and for Fortuna/Venus, that is going to be, they said, late summer, early fall, which likely means like middle, late fall. If we're just being, hey, I'm just going by past trends here. This is just, hey, this is just how it works. And they said they want to do Railjack by the end of the year, at least like the initial implementation of it. What that probably means is probably like January or February, which, I mean, that's just like, okay. This is not, to clarify, I am not like shitting on like DE saying release dates. I know they are going to try very, very hard to get to the release dates that they said. However, usually these things, they take time, and it'll be slightly longer than they usually guess for these things to come out due to unforeseen problems and like that. I would love if they hit those release dates because, hey, that's more content for me to play through quicker. But just being realistic, I think that's the more likely like shipping scenario that we will see. And the new war is definitely going to be significantly later. I've said as much in my TennoCon like overview video. There's no way the new war is this year. That's just not realistic unless they hire like an additional studio to work on stuff. So with that, that is kind of Devstream 113. It was really good. It's nice to be back on like regular Devstreams. As fun as TennoCon was, going to conventions and stuff is a lot. And I guess to wrap up this video in like a weird way, so I did something weird that a lot of other YouTubers do that I don't know if you guys would enjoy, and that is that I opened a P.O. box. So if anybody wants to send me stuff, that's cool, I guess. I don't know. People have been asking about this in like the Discord and stuff and like all that for like a year plus. So I figured I'd just do it, and the worst case scenario, like the two scenarios that I see in my mind are either, one, oh, people will send me some cool stuff and some like maybe nice letters and things, and that'll be really fun, and maybe I can do a video about it on the channel. Or option two, I become a very successful dildo reseller. So one way or another, the P.O. box is on screen right now if you would like to send me a thing. And I might do a video with the stuff that people send me. So if you like don't want it to be in a video, just like put like a note on it, and I will respect your wishes for it to not be in a video. But yeah, that's kind of the whole video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. For those that do not follow me on Twitter, the secondary weapon review is tomorrow, so please be excited for that. And I will see you then. Goodbye, everybody.